Jane, Jed, Will, and Sally Portman.
Officially run out, and we are here to celebrate a great victory. My name is Jane Portman, and it's wonderful to be here with all of you tonight. On behalf of the entire Portman family, let me just say a really big thank you for all the support you've given to Rob over this last year and a half and since the election cycle began. And just thanks to each and every one of you for being an important part of Team Portman. So, you know, there's been a lot of talk about how this year we have run the best campaign in the country, and I certainly do agree with that. But I also know that it's because we've got the best candidate in the country, right? I'm just really so proud of Rob and happy to be here with all of you. I really have come to believe that Ohioans have responded so well to Rob's campaign because they know he is not a part of the problem in Washington. They know he's a big part of the solution. And I tell you, he just can't wait to get back to working hard on behalf of Ohio families and Ohio workers. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming my husband and your friend, U.S. Senator Rob Portman.
It's a high school prom, it's a Springsteen song, it's a ride in a Chevrolet. It's a man on the moon and fireflies in June and kids selling lemonade. It's cities and farms, it's open arms, one nation under God. It's America. Now we don't always get it all right. There's no place.
What can I say? Isn't Jane Portman amazing? Listen, I'm overwhelmed. We did it. Thank you, Ohio. And thanks to everybody in this room. I've got a lot of great friends in this room who made the difference. Together, folks, we waged a great campaign. Some may not remember this, but we came from behind and we finished strong, didn't we? And I couldn't have asked for better friends and allies along the way to have this celebration with you tonight. We also ran hard and we ran clean. And even if we hadn't won tonight, this would have been a campaign and a race to be proud of. Now, it turns out we did win, with a little margin to spare. I'm so grateful for the people of Ohio who have given me the opportunity to represent them for 6 more years. Governor Strickland will walk away from this contest knowing that he gave it his best. He was gracious when we spoke tonight. I appreciate that, and I wish Ted and Francis the best. Thank you. Of course, the nation is still waiting on some other results tonight. There's some other campaigns out there, I guess. And, we'll see what happens. Sometime before sunrise, we'll know the name of the 45th president, and we'll know who has the majority in the United States Senate. Whatever the outcome, some of us will celebrate, others of us will be deeply disappointed, and by the way, in roughly equal measure around our country. But the election will be over. All that continues after the dust settles tomorrow morning is the cause of America. This political season has been one that we're probably all happy to let go, and we probably won't miss it. It'll be time to turn to the serious business ahead for our country, and we've got lots to do, don't we? As for me, I don't need to know who's going to be in the White House to tell you how I'm going to handle my responsibilities. With regard to the Senate, regardless of which party controls it, I'm going to treat my Senate colleagues, new and old, Republican and Democrat alike, with the assumption that they care about our country as much as I do. I'm proud to be a sixth-generation Ohioan. And those Ohio values of respect for others, service, and hard work, I learned from my parents, I learned from my grandparents. Some of you knew them. When I've got a tough decision to make, I look to their example and I wonder, what would they do? Honoring your word, serving the nation first, caring for people, and confronting serious problems in a serious, principled way, all of this, to me, is the true measure of public service. We need a lot more of it so that both parties can work together to figure out how to find common ground on problems and be able to restore trust in some of the basic institutions of our great republic. I think the best way to restore that trust is to get things done. I've tried to set a decent example by focusing on finding that common ground to solve problems. I haven't focused on starting pointless partisan fights or making unnecessary enemies. By the way, I don't feel like I missed out on anything, and it makes it a lot easier to get stuff done. But that's been the way we've operated over the last 6 years. You've heard me talk about it a lot on the campaign trail. For some of you, you've probably heard it a lot. I ran as an independent voice for Ohio, a common-sense conservative who focuses on results. I talked about the 45 bills that I've been able to write that have now become the law of the land and are helping Ohio families and Ohio workers. Working together, building trust, and delivering results, to me, is the right thing to do. By the way, for those wondering if that makes any sense in today's hyper-partisan environment, look at tonight. It also makes pretty good political sense, too. Here's how I look at it. The election has been intense and vigorously fought. People knew the stakes were high in terms of their own lives and really for all of America. Working families are tired of struggling every day with stagnant, even declining wages, higher expenses, including higher health care costs, the very definition of the middle-class squeeze. People see that companies and jobs are encouraged by their own government's policies to slip out of the country, and security threats are allowed to slip in. People see that the federal government has grown beyond its competence and even further beyond the consent of the governed, and doing it all on borrowed money. People see heroin eroding their communities, and increasingly, sadly, sometimes even their families. And they worry about what's going to happen with an increasing volatile and dangerous world. They worry a terrorist strike might occur here again. And people want us to do something about all this. And I will. I'll do everything in my power to expand opportunity for every family. That's why we've got to fix the broken tax code, improve skills training, crack down on unfair imports, stop the overregulation, replace Obamacare, and rein in the out-of-control national debt. I will focus on other things as well. As you all know, I have a passion to save lives and help restore lives by turning the tide on the heroin epidemic that has gripped our state of Ohio, to combat human trafficking, and to help those leaving prison be able to achieve their God-given potential in life. Those two are important things for me. On the international front, I will work with others to confront the growing national security threats we face, not by leading from behind, but by giving our troops the support they deserve and by restoring America's role in the world. In different ways, and clearly in both parties, so many people feel that things have just gone wrong for our great country. And whatever else might divide them, we can be absolutely certain of this. With a new president and a new Congress, people don't want to just rewind the tape and live through another 4 years of the same tired and self-defeating routine. They're looking for something new. They expect better. We are capable of better. And with a fresh start, there will never be a better moment than now to rise above the dysfunction in Washington, D.C. and find that common ground. I'm committed to help lead that effort, to reach out to all Americans and determine how we can address those concerns and frustrations they feel and find common sense solutions that will make a real difference in their lives. I'm a proud Republican, and I want to see my party lead on that effort too. I was successful in this campaign on the strength of others and on the strength of my faith. Never talked about this before, but to stay strong every night before going to bed during this campaign, from the times last year when we were 10 points behind to last night, I've done the same thing. I have focused on one accomplishment from that day. I have held up one person for my gratitude, and I've said a prayer. Those of you on the stage tonight and in this room have been in the center of many of those thoughts and prayers. I've celebrated your accomplishments as part of our team, whether it was passing legislation in Washington, D.C. to create more jobs, which we did, or whether it was passing the 5 million mark in terms of voters contacted. I have expressed daily gratitude for my friends and for volunteers who show up, young and old alike. They don't have to be there, and they're there, and were there for me. And finally, I have prayed for those I've met along the way on the campaign. That young woman suffering from trauma as a victim of human trafficking who I met right here at the March to Freedom in Columbus, Ohio. That dad that I met at a Cleveland roundtable, feeling that indescribable pain of having lost a child to the grip of heroin. That soldier I met at our Veterans Roundtable in Youngstown, whose physical injuries and PTSD had led him to the point that his hopes had been extinguished. Those are the people who've held me up. You have held me up. You have sustained me, and I thank you for that. I wouldn't be here tonight without the woman who introduced me, because she is, as you know, an amazing campaign surrogate. She She is also my partner in everything in life, and we were 10 points behind. Jane said, "No problem, we'll get there," and we did. Sweetie, I love you. Thank you for everything you've done. So since I was first elected to the Senate 6 years ago, all 3 of our kids have flown the coop. And that's hard sometimes. But I love it when they come back and join me on the campaign as they have during this week, because it's a chance to show off the 3 people I am most proud of in my life: Jed, Will, and Sally Portman. So when you run statewide in Ohio, you're asking a lot of people. I don't think there's any Senate candidate anywhere in the country tonight who had a better team. I'm so grateful to all of our coalition leaders, a lot of whom are with us tonight, some of whom are standing behind me, I saw. In the last few weeks alone, we've spoken at a dozen college campuses, met with our veterans, met with our Hispanic coalition, met with our sportsmen, been to union halls, and attended inspiring services at African American churches just in the last few weeks. Folks, we have reached out to every Ohioan in this campaign, and the results are in. Some have asked me earlier tonight, why do you think you did so well in this campaign? And my answer is because we had something to talk about, which was our record and our plans for the future. I can't say enough about the hardworking official office that's been at my side for the last 6 years in Washington and here in Ohio, led by Mark Zakowicz and Terry Geiger. Rob Lehman before Mark. I saw Rob here tonight. An amazing team. and they work hard every day for all of us, and that's why I'm standing here. And tonight, we all thank our incredible Portman for Senate team. This campaign staff was unbelievable. To Corey Bliss, our outstanding campaign manager. He's applauding himself. I'm not quite sure about that, but other than that, he's a heck of a campaign manager. But to the entire team, I can't tell you, these men and women work so hard, such loyalty, such determination. Thank each and every one of you. You guys are great. So, as you know, one big reason for our success is the thousands of volunteers who showed up. I mean, it's been unbelievable. And well beyond our expectations, to be honest. Students were organized on 35 college campuses, dozens of high schools, and they sat side by side with everyday citizens, making those phone calls, knocking on those doors, thousands of volunteers making millions of voter contacts. I'm told that as of this evening, we have now contacted 6 million Ohioans. That didn't just exceed all of our goals. It's a record not just for Ohio, but no campaign in the country can talk about that. And I'm so, so proud of you guys. Hey, if you're a volunteer here tonight, raise your hand. Let's give them all a round of applause, you guys. So you've given your all. Now it's time for me to continue to give mine. And I will. I'll try to represent the best of Ohio in every way I know how. And as your United States Senator, to make you and our great state proud. Thank you, guys, and God bless you.
It's a high school prom.